Hello and welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I'm your host, Gabe Peterson, and this is the place investors go to gain actionable advice, learn about current market trends, and hear war stories from other professional investors out there in the field today. Before we get started, I have two quick housekeeping items for you. First, if you like this episode, we would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and share. It is the best way to support the show and keep it running far into the future. Second, if you're a new investor looking to get started in real estate or an experienced investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you that will cover how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance those deals with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. On top of that, I throw in an insane amount of free bonuses that you'll have access to once you buy the ebook. All I charge is our admin costs to keep this show running. So if you're serious about real estate investing and want to create both active and passive income as an investor, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com and click on the button that says get the ebook in the upper right-hand corner to grab yourself a copy. With that said, let's dive right in. Today we have a very special guest with us, ready to drop some investor knowledge on you. So buckle up, grab your pen and paper, and enjoy the ride.
All right. We are back with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. Today we have Bob LeChance with us. Bob is the founder and CEO of Riva Global, a virtual assistant staffing company. He also has extensive experience in real estate investing. So I'm super excited to have him here because virtual assistants are key to growing your business and scaling when you're ready to get that step. So Bob, thank you very much for hopping on.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. I told you before we got on here, we always start with stories. We like to hear how people got to where they are today. So why don't you take us to yours? How'd you get started in real estate?
All right. I'll give you the Cliff Note version. Played professional hockey for 8 years. Started Boston University, played hockey there. That's ice hockey. Then played professional after that. About 8 years later, I decided that, hey, it's about time to join the real world. So retired from hockey and jumped into real estate with 2 feet. One of the reasons why I jumped into real estate as well is because I left school 2 classes early before getting my degree. So I either had a decision either to go back to school or just start in an industry that has 0 barriers of entry. So you know what? I jumped into real estate after reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, probably like 99% of people on this podcast. And then, so that's how I got started and jumped in. I just, it was a choice, either go back to school or, join real estate. And I chose real estate, which is a blessing.
Yep. Man, yeah. Once you're out of university, it's like looking back and thinking about going back to classes, just like, hell no, that is not.
Dude, it's painful. It is painful. I was 8 years after. I'm like, all right.
Even whatever. 2 classes. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So that's awesome. You just chose real estate full bore. You jumped in. Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's been echoed across many episodes. So I'm glad he wrote that book.
I had no idea if I was a rehabber or a wholesale. Like I knew nothing. So my first thought was I was a rehabber. So drove around neighborhoods. I bought a course, just like a lot of stuff that you talk about on your podcast. You have to reinvest in yourself and education and things like that. So I bought a course, a gentleman by the name of Dave Wisnett. This is back in 2004. So we're going way back, right? Yep. Been doing this for a long time. I bought a course and I learned about farming areas, which means you get in your car, you drive around different neighborhoods, you look for, roof all messed up, high grass, all that kind of stuff, any type of distress. So saw a couple properties. I picked up the phone, called on them, and one of them was listed. So I set up a showing and made an offer on it. I think it was listed going back. This is 2004. It was listed for 185, put an offer on 135. And, I know a lot of people are nervous to put low offers, and, what's the worst that can happen? They say no. But this particular situation, they said yes. And I was like, oh, nice. What am I going to do
All
now?
Right. We're doing this.
We're doing this. Yep. So ended up doing a rehab, made about $32,000 in 2 months, which was awesome.
Not bad.
But I also realized I had 0 systems. I knew nothing about, I didn't know anything about marketing. I didn't know about acquisitions, sales. I knew nothing. I knew I could, put together a crew in a short amount of time and put together money and financing, all that kind of good stuff. But that's not business. That's just a deal. So went to my local real estate association and saw a pre-foreclosure speaker, and he spoke on pre-foreclosure, and right then and there, now I'm sold on doing short sales. So I jumped in that world, and fast forward today, there's a lot of history from there.
Perfect, man. I love it. I like something you said in that you said you went from going from deals to actually running a business. And I feel like that is making that leap is the hardest. And it's also the most important step that anybody does when they're in real estate, because there is a stage when you're just focused on the deal. You're going out there, you're knocking on doors, you're trying to do those wholesales, trying to do those flips, but you're really just focused on getting the deal done. You're not thinking about how can you reduce the amount of effort that you need to put in order to get those deals done. And that's really where VAs come into play, is getting those systems down and systematizing all the steps that you take in order to, get the deals done. So it looks like you're about to.
I could definitely add to that. And it is really important, because when I first started, literally I was door knocking for a year straight. I went from door to door to door. And this is when technology wasn't there. Right now, technology is there, where a lot of times you're cold calling, you're text messaging, whatever you're doing, direct mail, and all of those leads are either coming outbound or inbound, right? Back in the day, you had to literally go after it. And what I would do is I would door knock, I'd come home and I would skip trace, which means looking for somebody's phone number. And then I would call until probably about 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Right. So, juggling a family, it's a lot of us on this podcast have families, and you're juggling, wanting to start a new business or doing real estate on the side, you need help. So I was doing all this myself, and on the outbound, you get tired, you get beat up, and cold calling sucks. Let's call it what it is. It's not fun. So might as well have a virtual assistant do it for you.
Yep, absolutely. So let's just, I want to just hop into that. I know you got more to your story. We skipped over a lot there, but the real juice of it, we went through it, and I want to get into virtual assistants, because this is, something that I always preach. I'm a big believer in hiring virtual assistants to kind of reduce the complexity of the things that you do in your business as the owner, as the CEO. So I want to talk a little bit about where VAs can have the biggest impact in a real estate business. I'm sure you've seen tons of different applications. So when you're looking at business owners implementing VAs into their systems, where do you see the biggest impact happen?
That's an interesting question, because we have clientele all the way from, real estate investors, which wholesalers, rehabbers, right? Yep. We also have property managers, we have real estate agents, et cetera. Like we run the gamut on that side of it. And, we have admin VAs, some VAs. So, and I'll give you an example of my own office, right? So we did over 160 transactions in our office. Like I got my VA office here, but I have our acquisition team, our dispo team, our TC out in the other room. So we use our own product in our business, which I think is very, very important when you have a service provider. I think every service provider should use their product, because, it's a lot more relatable when you're talking about your service. So I see everyone, we use our virtual assistants to scrape pre-foreclosure data online. Yep. Here in Connecticut, we have a judicial website. We scrape all that data. And a lot of the stuff that you get, there's PDFs attached. So they click on each PDF and they try to get the exact phone number for that individual. Yeah, you could scrape the data on the top front and get them skip traced, but we get really deep to see what the debt profile is, how much is owed, when the sale date is. And each state's a little different, but this is what I do in Connecticut. So then we use our VAs to do that. And we also use them to text and call those individuals to gauge seller motivation. So that's just one of the campaigns. We also have cold callers that are calling every single day on different types of lists. Right now, it's kind of funny how that changed. Before, I used to really hone in on a motivated seller list. Right now, I don't care. I do mass texting, or I do mass cold
calling. If you own a house, you're getting a text.
Yeah. And here's the thing, though. The reason being is because nobody knows exactly where somebody is in their situation. Yep. Nobody can tell. Yeah, you can layer data, you could do all that stuff and try to hone in. But we do stuff on the mass side of it, like meaning mass scale, to where if they own the property for more than 2 years, it's, more than 2 beds, really where my buyers are looking, X amount of square footage, because every property appreciated. So for me, I don't care, right? It's just really I'm looking for someone to raise their hand that says, hey, you know what, Gabe? Yes, I would entertain an offer. Boom, that goes right to my sales floor. And our acquisition team then calls them and tries to vet them, because we can make money on wholesale, wholetail, fix and flip, novations, which we won't get into. There's a lot of different exit strategies that we could get into.
Perfect. So I love it. So texting, calling, cold calling, all those things. Those are great.
Transaction coordinating work as well.
Transaction coordination. Yep.
Yep.
So actually, we'll go into something that I'm actually doing right now. So I'm on the commercial side. I'm focused on self-storage, mobile home parks, and laundromats actually right now because my family wants to buy a laundromat. So we're focused there. Something that I have run into, especially when you get into kind of sophisticated owners, is training your VAs to, especially on the cold calling side, is training them to have those conversations. How do you go about generally training your VAs, especially when it comes to something that, they need a little bit more sophisticated knowledge to be in the conversation?
So it always starts with a script, and not to be too scripted, but everybody, even me, right? When I start something and I learn something new, I need a script to start off of, and then you make it your own, right? So if anyone has a base, now it's kind of like education. It's called what it is, right? If you join a coaching program, you use that as your script. You go back to it, and then you make whatever, if you want to get into wholesale, let's call it what it is. It's the 80-20 rule. 80% of all the investors do the same. It's the 20% that makes your magic, right? Yep. Whether your market's different, et cetera. It's the same kind of thing about script. So I would start with a script. And here's one huge takeaway. When you're working with virtual assistants, they are not going to close the deals for you. You're going to use them to set the appointment. And it's our job, my job as a real estate investor, to make money off that deal. I know I hear people talk about, virtual assistants can run your whole business. No, they can't. They're a part, they're a piece, they're a team, right? It's kind of like you look at any team. It could be a basketball team. You need players on that team. A virtual assistant is part of your team, and they're a player on your team to help you accomplish what you need to accomplish.
Yep. Yeah. And I found, especially with VAs in my own team, is that the more focused I can get the VA, if I can really niche them down into a role, then they perform better. If I'm trying to just say, hey, do all of these things, then I don't like the result that I get because they're spread too thin and they just don't know what they're doing.
And that's one of the challenges that a lot of us make, right? We say, oh, we have so much crap on our plate. Let's just give them it all, right? Yep. And I don't care if you hire someone in-house. If you do that same thing to them, they're going to flounder. So it doesn't matter. And your advice is 100% true. You keep them within a task or tasks, and you have to be crystal clear in what you want them to do. Great thing about cold calling is you cold call, you have a script, you pass it on. That's exactly what you're talking about.
That
you have to make sure that they're tasked, right?
Yep.
So that's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yep. Yeah. And I like cold calling the most because cold calling, it just drains on me. There's one of my friends, he says he loves it, but man, I don't care who you are. If you're having that many conversations, it's tough.
That's right. You gotta love to talk.
Cool. Well, let's move on a little bit before we jump into the quick question round, because we are going to come up on it here soon. I did want to kind of get into how you got into REVA in the beginning. Like, how'd you start that? You went from being an operator to owning a VA business. So get us into that story a little bit.
Yeah. And this is, of course, I started in 2004. So I started investing in 2004. Then I actually helped start 2 real estate education programs. One of them, one of the biggest ones that was around pre-COVID, it's called Fortune Builders.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was tasked with setting up the back end of it, myself and a couple of partners, of setting up the coaching program behind it, and then hiring all coaches and expanding it from there.
Right.
And through the years, we worked with 30, 40, 50 plus thousand, maybe 100,000 students. I don't know how many to be exact. But one of the common themes I was seeing is that people needed help with doing all those tasks. And I was always looking for a product, a service, something out there. And this started in 2007. So 2007 to 2013, I had no idea what a virtual assistant was. And in 2013, I got introduced to what a VA was. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to test it. So 2013, I tested my first virtual assistant. 2014, I'm like, all right, we got a business here. So this is exactly what I need in my own real estate business. But this is also what every real estate student or every student needs. They're either working part-time or full-time, and they need to get more time left in their day. So that's when that the light bulb went on, and I put my education background on into a virtual assistant world, put them both together. And here we are, a long time later, 8 years later now, and we have
one thing led to another.
800 we're over 800 VAs right now. So
wow. Well. That's a big base. And are they all based here in the US? Are they international?
All in the Philippines.
All in the Philippines. That's funny. Yeah. All of my VAs are in the Philippines too. It must be just a that's where it's at. I guess they're English speakers, so that makes a lot of difference.
English is phenomenal. Their background, a lot of times, you understand their background is they call it BPO industry, right? That's the industry, it's call center industry. A lot of them, they're very, that's one of the things that they grow up in and they see this all the time. So there's a ton of call centers over there. So it relates very, very nicely for what we need.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yep.
All right. That means we have to jump into the quick question round. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. It starts out with books because I'm a big bookie. It's really just education. So if you're not a bookie, you can do any form of education, podcast, YouTube, whatever. But give me 2 recommendations, one for general life wisdom and one for real estate specific.
Yeah, you could go, of course, someone that hasn't read Rich Dad Poor Dad, you got to go with that one. That's a low hanging fruit. The other one I really, really like, and the reason why I started my virtual assistant business is Darren Hardy Compound Effect. Very good book. And, it relates a lot to real estate because it's how everything compounds on top of each other. It's kind of like when you build your wealth, whether it's self-storage or whatever, you have one storage unit, you add another, and all that compounds on each other, and passive income just starts getting bigger and bigger. So that's really the concept of it. Very good though.
Cool. I love it. And how about general life wisdom?
I don't know. Let me see what I just read. Let's see. Well, there's this is a pretty good book, 48 Laws of Power. It's a big book though. Yeah, it's actually really big.
Robert Greene. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to take some time. It's very big, but it's got a lot of wisdom stories in there that you could take away and use.
Yeah, Robert Greene, all of his books, he does really great research. Very, very meticulous. Yeah.
But they are long.
They
are long.
Yeah, it's dense for sure.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. And this one is for your younger self. So if you could go back to the Bob who had no experience in real estate, he was just getting out of hockey thinking, I do not want to get back into college. So go back to that Bob, look him in the eye, give him one piece of advice moving forward.
I would say you got to take action and you got to move. You got to keep moving forward because there's a lot of bumps in the road. Keep the blinders on, kind of like a golden retriever, the tennis ball, right? If there's a tennis ball, that's all they see is that tennis ball. Keep going forward. Don't worry about all the noise, all the BS that you're going to hear. You can't do it. You're not good enough. You don't have enough money. Don't listen to any of those naysayers. Put your mind on their lives because I promise you, this industry makes a lot of people a lot of money. So don't listen to them.
Perfect. I love it. Just keep moving forward. That's the advice that I always give out too. So great one. Moving on, this one is, let's see, for your habits. So habits are the foundation of our life. So if you could point to one thing that you do day in and day out that you feel contributes the most to your overall health, well-being, happiness, and success, what would that thing be?
What I would say, positivity. I have a sign right behind, you can't see it. It says positivity always wins. And I think it's the outlook on how you look at things. There's negative people in the world, the positive people in the world, and the positive people you realize are typically the more successful. So positivity is extremely, extremely important. It's how you look at it through your lens, right? Everyone's got a different lens and they see things through different things. Get rid of all the negative people out of your life, man, and you got to stick with positive people.
Choose positivity. I love it.
Yep.
All right. And let's see. Next one. For the United States, it's a big place. There's many opportunities out there, plenty of places to invest. So what is one area besides your backyard that you are most excited about?
It's funny. I tried we're consistently doing this. There's virtual investing. So we were in Arkansas, we were in Ohio, we were in a bunch of different places. Pick an area where you have the ability to have big spreads. Ohio, certain areas like Toledo, you have small spreads. You're going to do the same amount of work, right? For a small spread as you do the big spread, go for areas that have bigger spreads. So if you're going to pick look at your towns to see how, what the average sales price is. Toledo, you're going anywhere from, we're buying stuff for 10 grand to 50 grand. You're not going to get big profit spreads on the wholesale side. Go to Arkansas, you're dealing with $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 properties, right? You go in my backyard, you're getting bigger spreads. So I would look for the area that has the opportunity for higher price range because they give you bigger spreads on the wholesale side.
That makes complete sense. And I never thought about it that way, but I love it.
Yep.
All right. And that leads us to the very last question, which is plenty of people out there are listening. So I'm sure they're appreciating what you've given out. So they probably want to reach out and say hi. What is the best way for them to do that?
Absolutely. Check out our website. It's revaglobal.com, which is revaglobal.com. My direct email is bob@revaglobal.com. You can reach us. We're online. We're on Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of good stuff. So check us out there, or just reach out to me direct. Either way.
All right. Well, Bob, thank you very much for hopping on. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome, Gabe. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And for everybody who's here with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, reach out to me, Gabe at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Other than that, I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed putting it on, and we're able to pull some actionable advice that you can apply in your own investing today in the field. Before you go, we have a gift for you. If you're a new investor looking to get started, or an established investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you, available on our website. This ebook will cover how I was able to create both active and passive income in real estate with very little money to start with. In it, I will address the 3 most often cited obstacles new and veteran investors run into by showing you how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance a deal with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. And if you get the ebook today, I am throwing in a bundle of bonuses, 7 of them to be exact. The first one will be the off-market lead generation blueprint, which will take you through the exact systems and processes we use to generate off-market leads like clockwork, which is the most important skill when it comes to creating wealth in real estate. The second bonus is the A to Z REI systems and vendors guide, which will allow you to peek under the hood of our business and see the exact tools, systems, and even the vendors we use to see the success that we do. And the third bonus is the top 100 best performing keywords pack, which will give you the exact keywords we use to target motivated sellers online using PPC ads. The fourth bonus is our contracts bundle for wholesaling and renting real estate, which will give you access to all the contracts we use in the field to execute all different types of transactions. After that is the Investors Quick Analysis Calculator and Offer Tool, which will allow you to quickly calculate whether a deal is an actual deal and will allow you to create an offer automatically from those calculations. This is a lot of bonuses that I said. I'm just going to keep going down the list. Number 6 is the Investors Daily Success Tracker, which is a tracker you can use to ensure you are taking the right actions day in and day out to reach your financial goals in real estate. And the last bonus is the Wholesalers Template for Quick Assignment Cash, which will give you the templates we use to present our wholesale deals professionally and efficiently to our buyers. Whew, that is a bundle. So it's a mouthful. You get all of those bonuses for free when you download the ebook. All we charge is the admin cost to run the show. So if you're interested in the ebook and the bonus bundle, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Click on Get the Ebook Bundle at the top of the page to take advantage of that deal. And with that said, I hope you have a fantastic day, an even better week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.